Well, let's just start with the treatment room. Usual question now. Is there any updates from players in there that we can talk about for the weekend?
Yeah, positive with Doyle. So he's trained. We'll just get him checked, but there's possibility that he could be involved tomorrow. Yeah.
Let's start on Eastleigh. What are you expecting from them at the weekend?
Do you know what? I watched some of them yesterday. They try and play. They have a go to play. They 4-2-3-1. They try to get the midfielders on the ball and the wingers coming in. So I think they'll want to come and try to attack a little bit. I don't think they'll just come back and sit there. In the games that I've watched, they've had a good go to play. So I think they'll give us a test from that point of view. Maybe. We had a team that played far more direct in Solihull. I think this will be more of a maybe open football game.
Is that a game as a manager that you would prefer, an open game rather than a direct one, yeah?
Yeah, of course, for us, because we want to try to attack. And you saw, we opened the game against Solihull more in the first half. Second half, when it became a bit kind of scrappy and a bit more direct, it suited them more. So, yeah, definitely prefer those kind of games.
How hard or how can a team continue to kind of make a game open when another team wants to play direct? How hard is that battle of style?
Well, I think that we just have to keep... I mean, if you watch the first half, I've watched it back and I really think that we played some great stuff in the first half. Created some big chances, a good goal. I think then after we didn't get the second goal, we started to stress a little bit and go forwards too quickly and then we give the ball back to them too often. So I think we just have to trust in what we're doing and persist with it, and I think then the results will come.
In many ways, was that result maybe the most frustrating because of how well you had played? Maybe in other games the performance hadn't quite been there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can look at it two ways. You can say it's really frustrating now because we should have won the game, but at the same time we saw lots of good things. So, if we do that game over and over and over, eventually the wins will come. So I guess that you can look at it both ways.
Just going to ask you two questions in one, really. Best and worst here. Since you've taken over, what are the things you think your side have done really well, and what are the things you're tearing your hair about?
I mean, I think we've seen some progression with some of the attacking play. I thought it was much more fluid the last game in the way in which we opened teams up. Some of the goals we've scored have been great. The goals against Woking and the goal against Solihull Moors have been really good team goals, collective goals. And I think the frustrating thing is the nature of the goals that we've conceded. I think since I've been here, one goal in open play in the league is, really frustrating because but we know that we're going to come up against teams that rely a lot on set pieces, so it's up for us to be better at dealing with those now. So it's an area that we've really got to spend some time on.
Is set pieces just a case of players switching off just for that moment, or is it something else?
No, not so. It's a little bit about belief as well. When you've conceded a couple, you any uncertainty in there can cause a problem. So I think we've got to just be a bit more assured in what we're doing and a bit more confident with defending the set pieces. And we get a lot of first contacts, but we've got to make sure we pick up the second balls. So yeah, we've got to be better at that.
Okay, thank you. Good luck at the weekend.
Cheers, thank you.
Hi Ian, is there been any update on Callum Roberts' scan yet?
Yeah, didn't really come back with very good news, so I think it's unlikely that we'll see Cal again this season. So unfortunately for him, I think it's going to be one where we need to now use the time to rehab him, to prepare him ready so that he's, we don't get this kind of recurring issue next season. So yeah, we're disappointed with that, but at the same time, I think we've got to have a longer term approach, and as much as we want to keep trying to rehab him and getting him back, it's not right, and I think the scan is showing that he needs now to rest and get proper treatment until pre-season. I think that's got to be a target for us.
What is actually his issue?
It's an issue with his hip flexor. So right. It's not anything that's to be. It's not a super critical one, but when you're looking at 6 weeks, that there's not much time left of the season. So, you never know if rehab went really, really, really well around the playoffs. But I think in our heads and for Cal, he has to look at next season now and say, look, everything that we do now is going to make him the best player possible for next season.
Have you spoken to him, and how did he sort of take the news?
Yeah, I mean, it's been. I think sometimes when you know, okay, this is what it is, and this is where we've got to work to, then it's a bit easier. Sometimes when you think you're so close, and then you get a setback, that's even harder. You know, like for example, when a player gets a broken leg, you know, you're out for a certain period of time. You kind of have that acceptance, but when you think that you're close and you come back and you get these setbacks, it's harder. So I think we're all in agreement. You know, this is now something that we have to fix as a long term. There's no short term solution, so we need to work hard to get it right for next season, and Cal has to look forwards to that.
Just on the other injured lads, Richard Brindley, Damien McCrory, are they any close to being back fit at all?
Richard Brindley, yes, trained yesterday with the ball with the team, and today also, and I think we're hoping, all going well, that he's full training next week. So he's made really good progress. But no, Damo, no, not yet. He's still struggling with his knee.
Is he really? What is he? Is he back running at all? Is he even back?
Yeah, he's back out and working with the physios, but it's frustrating time for him. So yeah, not ready yet.
And just on the game on Tuesday night, I mean, you played really well for 65, 70 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
What in your mind switched the sort of dynamics of the game?
Well, I think any time we have to kill teams off. You know, if you look at the goal we scored, then Carl Wootton's got the chance in the first half, which could put the game to bed, and then we had Alex Lacey, big chance, Kyle, another good chance in the second half. I think we have to kill a team off, and then you totally deflate them. But when any team that is still in the game with 20 minutes to go has a chance, and Solihull then they had that moment where they hit the bar from nowhere. It was like they'd not had a chance all game, and then they hit the crossbar, and that is like a momentum switch. Suddenly they believed that they might get something, and I think they then started putting the ball on us a lot, and we've got to stay calm, defend it, and go back to what we were doing well, but don't not get dragged into a kind of back and forth game. Yeah, and I think we let it maybe go into that, and it suited them a little bit. So yeah, that's how I see it.
As a coach, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, that's obviously been something that Notts have had a problem with all season. When games become a scrap, how do you regain that control? As a coach, can you explain the best way that Notts could circumnavigate that when games are starting to sort of drift away from them and go like they did on the latter half of Tuesday night, for instance?
Just to be brave, to keep getting on the ball. It's the more... It's easy to get on the ball when you're 1-0 down and you want to express yourself, and there's nothing to lose. But when you're 1-0 up, to continue to do it, I think, is what we want to be able to do. And I think we have the players to do it. They just have to trust what they're doing for 90 minutes and not fall into the trap of getting into a scrap and just going direct for direct's sake to get the ball down the other end of the pitch, but do it with a bit more purpose.
Brilliant, lovely, thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Good afternoon, Ian. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. I just wanted to have ask a quick follow-up question on Callum Roberts. Just how much of a blow is it that he's out, and how much more difficult does that make the task of promotion this season?
I mean, it's a blow because he's a really good player. He's a top player, so you want your best players to be fit and available. But at the end of the day, if he's out, we have other players that have the capabilities to deliver results. So we have to focus on them and trust them. But I want every player fit, not only Cal. I want all of the team to be fit and available to create that competition. So yeah, it's a blow, but it doesn't mean that everything's a write-off. We just have to work really hard to win the games without him.
Does it? I mean, his incredible form as well at the back end of last season really propelled the Magpies before the season was brought to a premature end. Is that something that you think you could miss, or could you see another player going on a run like that? No,
it's up for some. It's now the platform's there for somebody else to step up and do that. Other people take responsibility. To be honest, since I've been here, Cal hasn't really been available. I've seen the qualities that he's got, and I've seen him close up, and I can see he's a fantastic player, but we have other good players as well with the capabilities to win us matches. So now the responsibility and hopefully the motivation for the squad is that somebody else can take that mantle and drive the team forwards.
Yeah, in a strange sort of way, can it be an added incentive for those players to really, step up and make a name for themselves?
Yeah, and I think, we have so many games in such a short space of time, we will have to utilise the squad. And every time there's a squad change, it's an opportunity for somebody else to come in and prove. And we want that kind of hunger in the squad that if you're out, when you get in, you take your chance. And so I think that competition and should be a good motivator.
Great stuff. And just to quickly go back to the issue of set plays, like you say, one open goal conceded since you've been here. With set plays, can it be a case of a mentality? A case I remember Chris saying about that essence of switching off or not being focused. But can it be that kind of where it gets in players' heads? You're thinking, God no, we've got another set play here. How are we going to cope with this?
No, not necessarily, but we just need. I think the players need to. What we've done is we've spent some time. We've discussed with the players, and we value their input as well, because the more kind of ownership of each of these situations that they have helps as well, and we'll find the solution. I'm quite sure about that. Defending set plays is one thing, and you can always concede set plays. Can be a little bit unlucky, a header, it drops, and the key for me is that we've been quite stable, out of possession in open play. That we've been quite stable with our defensive structure. It's just like it's a frustration, but I think it's an area that we're focused on, and the players really want to deliver on it. So if we can tidy those things up, the rest of the game is looking good.
Yeah, and you say, of course, you are putting a good amount of focus on it. How are you working to rectify that?
Yeah, just videos and work out on the training pitch, work with the players and try to identify the best way in which we can solve the problems, And we want to be a bigger threat at the other end as well. I think if you look, we had two big Carl Wootton had a really good header about 8 yards out, and Alex Lacey had a big chance as well, both from set plays from our situation. So we're not miles away from being strong at the other end as well. It's just to brush up on these areas.
Sure. And I'm just interested to get your thoughts as well. I mean, of course, it's been three losses in 5 in the league since you've come in with 8th place now only being 2 points off. Is there a worry that if form doesn't pick up and you're turning those glimmers of chances into results, that you could slip out of the playoffs in the next few games?
We don't want that to happen. We want to win the games, but it's still a lot of games to play. So the way I see it is actually we've got a really tough period coming up. We play Eastleigh, then we've got Torquay away, Eastleigh away, and then Altrincham away, all in a week, and then Sutton just a couple of days later. So it is a tough period, but I also think the back end of the season will also suit us as well. So I think it's important that we come through and we get some positive results in the next few games, and I think we can really. Our aim is to make sure that we're peaking at the end of the season and coming into those playoffs in a strong position, and I think we can do that.
And ahead of the Eastleigh game, of course, you said you expect them to play a kind of like more on the ground, a more similar brand of football to Notts compared to what we saw already in the week against Solihull Moors. What is it? Just a case in terms of picking up a result that you're just kind of like getting those, refining those bits that you have been doing well and turning them into strong defensive performances and getting the goals. Yeah,
I think that if we can create the same volume of chances that we did in the last game, every game, that's a positive thing. So we'll try to do that, and of course then at the other end minimise their opportunities. I mean, I think out of possession we were good last game. It's just like we said, if we can do that and be really astute on the set plays, I think we can have a good game.
And from an attacking sense as well, I guess of course it's a good position to be in that you are creating. It's just putting a finishing touch on those to get the goals.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of really good chances right until even the last minute. Alicia had that one that was blocked. So I think I think it's the most we've created in 8 games since I've been here, including maybe not with Woking. We created a lot also. It's just we have to keep putting ourselves in those positions consistently, and then if we can do that, I think the goals will come.
And generally speaking, do you get the sense that things are moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes the last result maybe doesn't reflect it, but I think the performance was good. So, we have to stay focused to just keep improving and try to get better every game. Try to take those positive things forward and keep hold of them, because sometimes you can get totally clouded by the result. You know, if you looked after the game, everyone was absolutely, you know, devastated with the result, and that's a good thing because we were all disappointed. But after a couple of days reflection, I think we saw some areas that we'd improved in, and that we want to keep doing that.